All right, we're on the normal screen now, but we do have a special screen um prepped here.
We're mixing things up.
So that should be a fun topic today. We're gonna be talking about extra deck mechanics and just other mechanics in general. But this time we're gonna be dueling while we're discussing about it, which I think should be fun.
Oh yeah. It's a bit of
So
an experiment, but it's like we got a Yu-Gi-Oh podcast, so why not podcast while Yu-Gi-Ohing? So I don't know.
yeah,
It'd
it's
be
gonna
fun to see what happens.
it's gonna be we're gonna start with Meadowlands format, just a random format we picked out. I think it should be fun. So I have like a whole list of things of like different ideas and whatnot. I think probably one that's popular is would be like Deck Masters.
Mm. Yeah, Deck Masters is like it's an interesting concept, and I think it's like something. And as a note, we're not just discussing extra deck mechanics and stuff. We're also discussing like potential things for alternative formats like Deck Masters, right? Because I don't think like the next Master Rule would ever introduce something that could like truly change the way that the game is like played, like on a fundamental level like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think it would be very cool because you see it in things like Magic the Gathering with commanders and stuff like that, and you also saw it in the anime as well. So I think there's a lot that could be done there,
I mean they
and a
could
lot of
even
room for experimentation.
yeah like they could even make some sort of like archetype specific card that has like its own mechanic where like hey this card like exists outside of the field and that you can use its effect or summon it or some like unique mechanic like that that's perhaps like tied to like certain cards. That's not quite like Deck Masters where it's hey you can just pick any random card and it has like some lingering effect. Like it's something they would have to kind of like make something around. Kind of similar. We're talking beforehand about like the One Piece card game. Having like sort of like boss monsters almost. Could be
Yeah,
interesting. And you can have even like some really cool stuff like lopsided duels, right? You could have someone have some crazy powerful super boss monster. You need like 2 or 3 duels to like take this guy down. Like some
yeah.
brokenness like that. It could be really fun.
I mean, I would love, especially since you mentioned 2 to 3 duels to take it down. I like something like Commander where you could have more than two people playing at the same time, and it's like sort of like a free for all, but maybe a tag team, maybe something else. I don't know. I think that would be really cool as well, because it's just like I feel like when you have that dynamic between four players and stuff, and you don't necessarily have like a okay, I'm just going to kill my opponent and just that's all I'm doing, right? Uh, I feel like it does enhance the game a bit and make it a little bit deeper. Um, so like that's my opinion though. I know a lot of people maybe don't want us to go the commander direction, but I do think it would be pretty fun.
Yeah, and also by the way, we're playing like rogue or low tier decks just so we don't have to focus too much. And I will say, I mean, you can see, I mean, everyone can see my hand on stream. It's pretty bad. I don't know how to play this deck. It looked kind of fun. Duality is good.
Don't worry, I don't know how to play either, but oh, that is a good one. That is, I mean, yeah. Sorry
No.
about it.
I kind of had a feeling, so I didn't want to like set everything I could possibly set.
Yeah, well, it worked out for you. Um, 'Cause I still have this pesky set card here that I might not want to do things with.
Oh, that's
Luckily,
true.
I can get that off the field by just doing that.
Yo, G Specs, what's up? Ace Specs. Is that a One Piece thing? Destroyed my solemn warning and sorry. Okay.
You've got the stream chat
Tribute.
watching.
Yeah.
They're keeping you honest there.
Yeah, they're keeping me
Um,
honest. Like another thing, um, I was kind of thinking of was like potentially because with speed duels getting on pause, what do you think of potentially adding skill cards to the TCG, but have them be a little less
I,
anime focused and more just like creative Yu-Gi-Oh things?
yeah, it's very interesting in that like I feel like honestly skill cards are sort of like testing out for like deck masters and things like that. Um, so I think that that is sort of like a neat design space that they've experimented with a little in the past, you know, in the form of speed duels. Um, but I don't think they really managed that too correctly, which is probably why it's unfortunately being discontinued for now. Um, but I do think that there is potential in the future. Maybe instead of branding it as speed duels format, maybe brand it as deck master format. Uh, and it could be a bit better there. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I would want to keep speed duels with or skill cards with speed duels because that's kind of what keeps it unique. Um,
Mm.
and also, we got duel links, and I feel like if you start mixing the two, people are just gonna complain about it. That something's gonna be broken. Um,
Yeah, but like I mean, people complain about Yu-Gi-Oh being broken all the time, you know. So I'm not really sure there's much we can do about that.
yeah, one thing I know a lot of people talk like have always said like, oh, they need to add like red cards to the game. And there's a reason why they don't. And that's because trap cards exist, which are like
Yeah.
pink, and like the print would just confuse people. I mean, let alone if that redding starts to like dry up a little bit, and the cards start to look like traps, and it just creates like a whole wave of
I
like
mean,
printing mess and just confuses people because when they look at a trap card, that's basically red.
yeah, but you could also argue that like they made link monsters and I mean, as we're about to see here, uh, you know, if the ritual monsters are blue as well as links, so um but that didn't stop them from doing it, I guess. But yeah, I think red would look cool. I honestly would like actually I was gonna say green, but then I was like spell cards are green. What am I saying? But like I was thinking like more like a neon green
Ooh, like
would
a
be the best.
bright bright lime color.
Yeah, or what about this? What about, you know, they've done this a little bit with pendulum cards where you have half of it one color, half of it another color. What if we do the same thing with like synchro, Xyz, fusions, etc., and you have them sort of like half and half that way, you know?
That would be weird. Like a half
Yeah,
black,
I don't.
like an Oreo cookie.
Yeah, like that would be cool. I mean, they've made Xyz, synchro, etc. monsters that are pendulum monsters as well. Maybe you have cards where you can either overlay for them or you can synchro summon or fusion summon or do something like that for them. And depending on which method you use to bring them out, they get a special effect. Like that could be something cool.
Because they have cards that are like pendulum synchro rituals. I think Odd Eye's pendulum graph is one of those, and that's just so silly. I
Yeah.
kind of prefer cards to be more like singular, right? Like pendulums are
Which
already like so weird, and I feel like if they expand upon that, that would just be really bizarre. Especially when you have like quick play spells and continuous traps and continuous spells.
yeah, but I feel like it is still an unexplored design. Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry. I'll shuffle this back in. Uh that's a good Veiler. I just feel like it's unexplored, and I like when people do things with like unexplored sort of design spaces a bit.
Now, one thing I would
Um,
like that's kind of like a mix, which actually exists in the anime, is having spell cards that have link arrows.
mm,
I think that could be really
yeah,
interesting
like
because
judgment
now,
arrows.
yeah, because like now instead of just having stuff in the extra deck or in like the monster zones, you would have stuff on like the bottom side of the field that you can mess around with.
Yeah, I think that
You've
would be cool.
activated my mirror
I
force.
I knew Mirror Force was a possibility there, but I figured ultimately it was worth it. Because for some reason Gishki Aqua Mirror doesn't prohibit you from using its effect here, the same turn you ritual summon. So I'm just going to shuffle it back into the deck and add that Zilgigus back to my hand there.
Oh my god.
And so I get to do the whole thing over again, especially given I can now do. Wait, can I do this? I can't. This deck is broken. I don't know what. I don't know why you're
Oh
allowed to do this,
my
but
god.
I'm gonna add vision and a shadow to hand, and then get crazy here. So I'm gonna shadow to get a ritual spell,
What?
None of this is a hard one per turn.
You
This
can
is wild.
discard this card out of. Uh,
Yeah, anyway, I'm just gonna do it. Oh, not set. Gonna do it all again, and just target that back row with its effect. I guess it's limited by
Wait, with
sorry, by
whose
life
effect?
points, but Yugioh's effect. So
Draw one card, and if
uh
you reveal, do you draw a Gishki
yeah, do you have
monster?
do you have another Veiler or
I do not have a Veiler.
okay. Oh well, it wasn't Gishki, so you're good. You're good
Okay.
now. But yeah, but I feel like I don't know, it's I mean and something else that we can experiment with is like there are interesting things that you can do to like break things like ritual summons, like which is what happens here, right? Where ritual summons start out and they're pretty bad, and then you get decks that have ritual spells or monsters that do very specific things to sort of mess with that a little bit, right? Um,
What
I
a
feel like that's
what about
hmm?
ritual traps?
Ooh, oh now we're talking. I like that a lot. I think that's really neat.
That could be really interesting.
Yeah.
Um, just like performing a ritual during your opponent's turn. Uh,
Yeah. Sorry about
I
this. You've fallen for
I
my trap
think
now.
I can lance
Oh
my
yeah.
Thunder King,
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
which
Yeah.
would still hit because that's still over 100.
Yep.
uh,
Oh,
I haven't
rough
drawn
stuff.
to like anything with my like actual deck, which is terrible. Like I
I
just
mean,
hard drew into Thunder King.
you're looking pretty good right now. Um, so let me think here.
One idea I've thought about, because it's sort of a way to rehabilitate field cards, um, because like field cards now are just like nothing like what they used to be, right? They're basically just
Yeah.
glorified continuous spells that typically involve some sort of searching effect. Um,
Yeah, and I feel like
what
that's
does
one of
this
the
get
biggest shames
to? You
in
can
modern
target
Yu-Gi-Oh.
special.
Yeah, it lets me bring back
Okay,
Shadow and then
yeah. So
Xyz
like
summon.
I had an idea for like a some sort of like environmental kind of card, where at the beginning of the duel, each player can like play them in like a special like environment zone or something like that, um,
Mm.
where it's more of like a traditional field esque. I mean, obviously it's modernized to like some degree, but just kind of keep that like original idea intact, but have it where it's not something that just inherently breaks in your deck. I think that could be rather interesting. Yo,
Yeah,
Red
no,
Lover, what's up?
I agree. And I don't. I just feel like oh, also the Summon Abyss Dweller fine.
Oh, I guess this guy has an effect, doesn't he? I
Yeah, and
guess I
you can
have
T King the
to. Like,
summon. So yeah, yeah,
there's no
it is kind
reason
of
not to.
unfortunate, but
Yeah.
now, yeah, um, but yeah, I think that like an environmental sort of thing is like it would solve one of the biggest issues for me of modern Yu-Gi-Oh, which is the field spell thing. Like when I heard that announced back when they limited the fact that you could like now no longer draw for your first turn and stuff like that. I was fine with all the changes except for the field spell thing because it's no longer a field spell. It's supposed to be a thing over the entire field, and then there can't be two at once. I know in the first season of the anime you could do two at once, but I don't know. It just felt not good there, and
Yeah, talk about not feeling good right there.
yeah.
I mean,
What can I say? I opened two salvage.
I've
So
always been a big fan on of like the new field spell. I know one thing we talked about in a previous stream was like dark synchros, which they kind of did with like the Earth's Arctic. Oh my god, with the Earth's Arctic archetype, where it was like the difference between levels. That could be potentially interesting. This is like the oh my can't I can't.
yeah, but to be fair, I can't really activate the effect here because if it is a Gishki monster, I mandatorily have to shuffle one card from the field into the deck. So
Hmm.
uh,
Poor you.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my
Uh,
bloody
but yeah, it's just like I know that I'm in the minority about this opinion, but I don't know. It just feels like a shame to me that it just doesn't quite work out that way.
god. Lead
I'm just
Lover
gonna try and
says, looks you straight in the
you.
face, is a bit Dweller fine. uh,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
but yeah. Uh, that's just game one. I still want to see what you're playing. I don't know what you're playing. Uh,
I
I
I drew into two monsters that entire game, and one was Thunder King, one was Effect Veiler.
oh yeah, that hurts. Yeah, I drew into the actual gas parts of my deck as opposed to everything else. So I got very lucky there. Um, but Zealgaze is a house. I just love that card. It's so funny. Or yeah, I mean the art on it looks funny. That is once it hits the field, it's very scary. But like it just looks so neat. Um,
He seems a bit busted.
but yeah, he's a bit wild. 3,200 attack is pretty nutty. Um, but since we were just in siding, do you think that like something that could potentially change is like how side decking works in the future? Because as more and more decks potentially become more viable, do you think it would pay off to potentially maybe enable you to increase the size of your side deck, or potentially maybe have that tied to like, okay, you can increase the number of cards in your side deck, but maybe for every extra card you go over 15, you have to decrease the size of your extra deck by one? That would be kind of neat. I don't know.
That could be interesting. Do I draw first in this format?
Yes, you do. Yeah, because this
Okay.
is before Arc V comes along. Yeah. But field spells work the way they should in this format. That's what I'm saying.
Um,
But unfortunately,
but
my deck does not play field spells. So
okay, I actually have cards. I think it could be interesting, like messing around with the side deck. Um, I remember when I first learned Yu-Gi-Oh, I actually thought the side deck was a card was like the way my like head worked was that I thought that you could if you could draw a card, shuffle back in your deck, and then draw like a card from your side deck.
oh, that would be neat.
Boy, was I wrong
I
on
would,
that though. But
yeah. Well, one of the things that I've heard people sometimes mention when they're discussing things to potentially add to Yu-Gi-Oh, is like, oh, why don't you add a mulligan, right, or some system like that? And I feel like that would be it's something where like
hmm,
Yu-Gi-Oh cannot really afford to have that sort of thing because with the way that modern decks work now, they're trying to get their starters, get their common pieces, etc. So a deck is fine, like mulliganing, maybe taking one last card as long as they've got like enough starters and stuff. Like if they draw a hand of just entire bricks, first turn, they'd love a mulligan, right? And I feel like it's much more impactful in Yu-Gi-Oh than let's go
yeah.
Madolches. I love this deck.
I'm gonna use its effect to special summon a Madolche from hand, which is a hoot
Yep.
cake. What a hoot!
Oh, nice.
Um, can't really do anything with that, but I can access the overlay network
Oh yeah.
for something.
Are we? Can you? I don't think you. I think Tiramisu is a level 4, right? So this will
Yeah.
be, yeah. Still, that's a pretty good opener. And I will tell you right now, my hand is not as good as it was last game.
Lead Lover says still like the hand trap, or I still like my hand trap side deck. You can draw from kind of security, like in addition. Yeah, I think we talked about this last week about an an extra deck basically on the side, like
Yeah.
some sort of like general counter system almost, or some sort of like resource system. Because I really like Xyz monsters. I think part of that is because they do have like an inherent resource system, and I think it'd be kind of interesting to take a lot of the you know bland aspects of deck building and just kind of put it somewhere else. I think that could be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, the tricky thing is that like hand traps are kind of balanced by the cost that they require slot in your deck, right? So like if you
Hmm.
draw them, you're not drawing like a starter or something like that. And I feel almost like it would help out decks that, don't really want to play too many hand traps because it conflicts with their engine. I feel like it would also help out decks like Snake Eyes, which are fine playing a ton of hand traps because they've got such a small engine. But if they have the option to just have hand traps in a different location, they could just fill up their deck with even more engine, right? More gas. Um, so I don't know. It's a bit tricky, but
Yeah, I'm gonna
Invoker is
activate
very neat.
Madolche Chateau. Um,
Oh yeah,
I think, or do I? Wait, no.
you might want
Wait,
to do this after
yeah.
Invoker. Yeah.
So then
No, I mean this.
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
we're not taking this seriously at all.
yeah.
I'm going to detach, I think, Hoot Cake to special summon a level 4 Earth Warrior or Beast Warrior from my deck in defense position.
Mhm.
Um, is it
Invoker is such a neat card.
Warrior or Beast Warrior? Yeah, I mean, special summon, like, isn't it banned? I think it might be
It
banned.
is
Or
banned, I think,
okay,
now, or it used to be at least. It was on the list for a while because I think it's very good in like Zodiacs.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I'm gonna
like,
use Messengelato to search for a Madolche spell trap.
yep, that sounds good. Oh, now you get Chateau plus Ticket turn one, and you shuffle back in the Houquet. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, this one may be a bit tough for me to
Yo, Moose, what's up?
to.
No cheating, Ben. Stream sniping,
I
looking at
don't worry, I'm
Janjo's
not
mic.
stream sniping. I've got the stream in a different tab, so that way it counts as me watching it for the metrics, but I'm not watching the stream. Um, so
And by the way, any of you
uh,
watching, let us know what you think about this kind of. I know, like, I feel like the discussion is kind of like it's certainly half-assed, um,
yeah,
but I mean, we're just having fun.
yeah, and also this is the first time doing it, so that could potentially change in the future. But if people don't like the sort of idea of this as well, then let us know. Um, And also, especially if you don't like the execution, if there's anything that we can change with it, or if you just want us to go back to the original format, let us know. We're just trying an experiment here, and we're doing this podcast for you, the viewers out there. So, uh, your feedback is
Mhm.
greatly appreciated.
I did have an interesting idea regarding the extra deck, though. But first, I'm gonna activate
Oh,
Chateau. I
the
think
yeah, no,
now's the
this
right
is
time
very good.
where I can
Yeah,
shuffle back Hoot Cake into the deck.
and then you get
Um,
the search with You don't have a fairy, so you
the
can't
Mons
special summon it, but you can add to your hand, which is probably
monster
like just
liberation
as good, really.
by the effect of a Madolche. Right, yeah, the Madolche ticket does a thing. I've always liked Madolche just as like just how they play in terms of like a weird mechanic, just that they shuffle like they constantly shuffle back
That's
into
so
the
neat.
deck. Before I shuffle,
Yeah, you can just search and
can
that'll shuffle it for
just
you.
add a
Um,
Madolche monster. Wow.
yeah. Now this is the ideal combo that you want. So
I'm going to add the
it's very good.
Messengeline or Mageline.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
And this guy also gets 500 attack and defense.
Yep. Although
But
he'll be dead at the end phase, so
oh,
won't
true.
matter too much there.
Um, I've already used my normal summon. I can't summon otherwise. So like the idea I had was an extra deck type limit. So not quite like 15 cards per deck, but
Mm.
like perhaps like 5 of each, like fusion, synchro, Xyz, links. So you end up getting more, but you only get like a select 5 of each ones.
That'd be interesting. I think it would be
I mean,
unfortunate for decks that are
Zodiacs would be killed absolutely.
yeah, Zodiacs would be killed. I think it would also unfortunately put a lot of decks in the crossfire that are like more casual decks that focus on a specific type of summoning mechanic. Like for instance, TGs, right? TGs are all about like going. I mean,
Go
now they've got
hard.
a new Link monster. I don't know what that Link monster does, but they're all about like ranking up through not ranking up, but synchro
Mhm.
summoning up through multiple different synchro tiers and ending on a big boss monster. But if you're limiting the amount of synchro monsters you can play, then it kind of hurts the strategy a bit.
I mean,
I
I
think
don't like
I think
synchro spam. Get those 20-minute turns out of
okay,
it.
yeah, if you don't like that, then that's more your prerogative there. But
Also, what's up, 7 item stone? People made fun of my new mechanic idea, so props to you guys. I mean, every idea is like it's ultimately silly, but then again, so are links and pendulums, and I love links.
yeah, links are. I think links got a lot of hate, especially just in the way that they were made, where they sort of inherently limited another mechanic, right?
Mhm.
Um, but I think, like honestly, in hindsight, yes, there are generic links that are very annoying. But I think overall, like it's not a terrible thing.
Hey Lee,
This
what's
this is
up?
Detroit.
Congrats, by the way, on the almost 30K subs. I've still got a ways to go. It grows incredibly slow. Another like 120 behind. Um, one idea I also had, another thing we kind of talked about before was having more extra monster zones.
Yeah, I think that
Like
would be really cool.
have something on the field that like you almost want to achieve to reach towards. That isn't U Link, but like I think that would be kind of fascinating. Just like because we've been seeing with Yu-Gi-Oh that they've been giving a lot more emphasis on columns. And obviously with links you get the more emphasis on zones. So having something that's more about like playing the field as like more of like a almost like a board game type of thing. I think that could be really interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it would be. I think it would just be like another way to explore because I think the most successful mechanics have always been defined by just like sorry, I'm just gonna do this to you in the in the standby phase.
Tribute one monster. Look at your opponents. Uh, okay. Just
But
pulls.
yeah,
He
I think
just
the
pulls
most
up the stream.
yeah yeah basically might as well. Um, I feel like I gotta do. I feel like I gotta do Madeline here. It doesn't feel good, but
Sense to the
I feel
grave.
like I just gotta do it. You know, I'll leave you putting Cess in dark hole. But
Does this trigger
no, it wasn't
anything?
destroyed. It was just sent to the graveyard. So
Okay.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I feel like the most successful mechanics have always taken an aspect of the game that we've never really thought of too much, and then just really been like, well, okay, we've got this thing that's in the game. It's never done anything yet, but like, what can we do with it, right? And columns was a natural extension of that, right? Link arrows as well, because outside of like Senate Switch or Blasting Fuse or things like that, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh's not really cared about the position of its cards for the majority of its lifespan. But then Links came along, changed that, decks like Springans and other things, you know, changed the way that people played with columns. Same with Mech Knights and stuff like that. Um, and so, like, you did get an exploration of that. I think the next step then is potentially like, you know, as you say, like building outwards from that. You know, like
Hmm.
right now we're limited by a 10 monster zone field with on each side, and then 2 extra zones, right? And it would be cool if you just like go beyond that, sort of build new things and do stuff with that. I don't know if that should be something that like every deck would have access to, or just a specific sort of you know, archetype has a thing where like you create a new monster zone and then do stuff with that.
They
But
should
I think it would.
have a link monster that points towards the graveyard and that does something,
Mm,
or the
that'd
field
be cool.
zone and does something. That would be
Honestly, that would be
interesting.
cool.
Or points towards like
Yeah.
spell and trap cards and like that activates some additional effect. Like maybe they have like some sort of special spell cards that have like an extra box below that has like, hey, if the card points towards this, it gets this additional effect.
You know, I think that would be cool. I would like. I mean, again, it comes down to experimenting with those sorts of things. And what have they not done yet? You know, they've not done things like pointing to spell and trap zones and triggering stuff with that. They've not done things like creating new zones. It's just like all about, you know, what's the next area they have not explored, and whether that, you know, comes into the game through a new archetype or through just a new sort of master rule. I think either
Mhm.
way it can be fun. Yeah, this is a busted combo.
It doesn't seem like
I just
we're.
didn't have a way to clear the invoker last turn.
Do I
Uh,
grab another chat Is that the combo? I get Chateau and then
You
ticket
could
pops
Chateau
off.
and then yeah, you could just go Chateau, put Chateau over Chateau, shuffle back everything, and then do that. Like that's not bad. um,
Because another ticket
Another ticket doesn't
would,
really do too much
yeah,
here.
it could potentially
Um,
ramp things up. Do my other Dolce cards do any?
there's like Medolce
No.
Palooza, I think.
I have a Knights and a Palooza, but
I forget what those
eh,
do, so I don't know if they're actually good. Um, but I'm glad we were able to have game one, my deck pops off, game two, your deck pops off. Because I think that makes it more
popping off.
exciting, you know. Oh.
Well, with ticket, I can um add a monster to my hand.
Yeah, so you get two monsters, so it would be good for your resources and stuff.
So I'll
But I
grab
think
a
Chateau,
Chateau. And then I'm
yeah.
gonna tribute over the Messengelado for a pudding set, so I have a fairy.
Oh, yep, and that works. And then you can, yeah, and then
Then
extend even further. Yeah.
yeah, then I'll activate another Shitta.
Chateau.
Yeah,
Sorry to
Lover
all the French
says
viewers out
yeah,
there.
like Lead Lover says pendulums are tragic. They kind of are. Like I like the rough idea of them. Um, but it's just like the issue is that I think Konami thinks that they just made it way overly complicated. That probably like could have been
Yeah,
with
I
like the
I also feel
pendulum
like
zones and like the pendulum numbers and the extra deck face up and the pendulum. So like it's such a different mechanic, and you know honestly I give them props for trying something so wholly original that is nothing like the game has seen before, and I think there's something like cool about that.
yeah, no, I agree. I love pendulums in just like concept wise. I think the issue with them in the game is I don't think Konami ever really made a truly balanced pendulum archetype. It was either too bad or too good. In Pepe for the example of too good, and you look at any number of pendulum archetypes they've released lately, like Valmonica and Sulf Cord and all that stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and it's just unfortunate because um, I think they could have been really cool, but yeah, I think that Konami just like, well, we don't know how to figure out how to make this actually, competitive in a way that isn't just like too dominant. So unfortunately, we're just kind of shelving the concept. Maybe we'll do a cool thing here or there, but we'll never actually make a sort of competitive pendulum deck again.
So I'm just looking at my. I mean, I
I guess
like
Metal Foes
pendulum, like
was
yeah, like Metalfoes is cool. I like
yeah,
Cleaforts. Like just like design
yeah,
wise,
but
I think they're super cool. Like Cleafort Scout, so good.
yeah, Cleaforts had the issue where they weren't really like they were very good, but like they weren't really doing like what pendulum decks normally did, right? Like
Hmm.
they're kind of a weird thing, and that's part of why I love Cleaforts because they're so unique. But you know, doing sort of like what pendulums want to do and like what we associate with them like later, like Metal Foes I think is probably the best example of that. Um, and of course the Pepe stuff is like doing that to the nth level, which is game breaking, but. Um, yeah, not once per turn on this. Wow. Yeah, it's pretty
And
good.
then I'll add a Palooza.
That
Yeah,
seems pretty
Zephyr.
good
And
too.
yeah, then we got like the link like was it Zephyr Metalfoes with like the
Oh
three link
yeah,
arrows. Like that was a really cool thing early on as just a monster that had like those specific arrows.
yeah. It reminds me of like Lanferinkus being good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Proxy Dragon.
Yep. All those Link twos that people played because it's like, well, we don't have any others, so
Like Scapegoat was the bomb back then.
Oh yeah, that's why I got banned. I think because of the Link shenanigans you could do with it.
Yeah, I mean that stuff gets strong. Speaking of getting
Yeah.
strong.
Oh yeah, these guys all get strong, and also you don't have any monsters in grave, so pudding test goes up to 23 as well.
Oh, does she?
Um,
Oh,
yeah,
snap, crackle, pop.
that's pretty good.
Now this is sweet.
Yeah, this is gonna
But
hurt. Okay, so 21. 16 and then 23. Yeah, I don't think that I'm going to be in a in a good spot this game. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Zeal Gigas can get me out of it if I find a way to get into that. But um,
I mean, there's a good chance I'll fumble this.
well, I mean that I drew a pretty good draw here, but you probably have a way to stop it. Either way, I'm gonna pitch Vision. And I'm gonna try and get the Zeal Gigas, the big boy, to hand. You know. Um, and then I do indeed have the mirror, so I can tribute this.
Okay. No
Let's
solemn warning.
let's go. I was very worried. I figured like one of those has to be a solemn warning, but I'm gonna use Zeal Gigas. The only chance I have to use it because
Okay.
I'm down to 1,000 now. Um,
Draw that card.
it
Is
was
it a
not a
Gishki?
Nishi monster. No, that is unfortunate for me.
Oh, heck yeah.
Let's see. I think I have to. I'm not normal summoned yet, so I think I have to get a little bit creative here.
Hmm. I did have like kind of a more out there idea for an extra deck thing. So in the video game Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, before the match you can pick one of the Infinity Stones. You know, like Infinity Stone, like the Power Stone, Time Stone, Space Stone, whatever,
Mm.
and it gives you like a certain effect you can use like once during that, that match. I think something like that, but incorporating with like the Millennium items would be really fascinating. Like each
Ooh.
player, like there's like a select 7 of these cards, like they're of relative power. I don't know if they should be like broken, or just something like good, but but still like fairly simple. That you can use it once per match or maybe once per game. That gives you some sort of power. Like one card, for example, that sticks in my mind is Time Tearing Morganite, which
Hmm.
prevents you from activating cards in your hand. But I believe, what was it? You can like normal summon twice, like each turn.
Yeah, I think they made another one too,
Yeah,
like in that sort of line where it's like it's got a different set of effects like that, but it's something that allows one player to change the mechanics for them, but with a sort of downside to it, right?
yeah,
I think that sort of design space is also really cool and also very underexplored a bit.
like something with that, but
Um,
with like the Millennium items. There's a good chunk of selections, and you can like sort of extend from there, I guess, depending on like what they want to kind of focus in on, right? Even like an
yeah.
Orichalcos thing, or just something like relatively like, but like just like a core like 7 cards, I think would be like really cool. Also, Abyss Dweller
Oh yeah.
with the
This is
22.
kind of a neat thing. Because I'm pretty sure it will prevent your Madolches from being shuffled back into the deck.
Mm,
They activate in graveyard. So
uh, yeah, sent to the graveyard. Sure does.
yeah.
Yeah, the
So
Millennium Zone.
I feel like that would be cool. And it would be a cool way to like get back into this sort of like tap back into the nostalgia of the old game, you know?
Yeah,
Um
like Speedles hasn't even like done like anything regarding Millennium items. I mean,
yeah.
aside from like Pegasus skill cards, like there is like the Millennium Crush deck, but that's not quite the same. If you played Let Lover says if you played Vampire Survivor, it's like the Arcana buffs.
I've heard Vampire Survivors is good.
Mirror
Oh, that's
Force.
that's rough. Yeah. I'm going to yeah, I think I have to lance my Zeal Gigas.
Hmm. Hmm. I suppose that is okay. I
Okay.
don't think I can stop that.
Yeah, I will lose a Beast Dweller though, so that is unfortunate.
Yeah,
Um,
but though its effect still works for the remainder of the turn, I do believe.
yes, I believe that's correct. It does still make this awkward. I think I have to attack into the pudding cess here.
Um, wait,
You
what?
get to destroy. I think the after damage calculation thing happens on field. Um,
Wait, how much attack was Zeal Gigas at?
24. So it still gets over pudding cess, but pudding cess can use its effect to destroy the Zeal Gaius because it activates on field, I think. Um,
Uh,
Although if you do want to leave the Zeal Gaius on my side of the field, I will happily take that.
well, I'm trying to figure out why are you just are you trying to attack into Pudding Cess because of some graveyard thing, or are you just trying to get rid of the Pudding Cess?
And who can say?
That's what I'm. I I think you're trying to survive, so I'm going to Forbidden Lance this to reduce attack
Ooh.
by
Well, wait,
another
no,
800.
it's unaffected by the effect of other spell and traps, so it will be unaffected by
Oh,
the lands as well.
crap. You're right. Okay,
So
never mind. All right,
yeah, you
then.
can just reset that. It's all good. Yeah, that would have been really bad for me if you'd lanced by Zeal Gaius there.
Yeah.
Um, but so yeah, you take 100, but that's not anywhere near the amount of life points that I've taken. Uh,
Ow, that's a paper
and
cut.
and now main two, I just gotta
Oh,
hope that
snap.
this this one Zeal Gaius will
It
carry me to
might.
victory.
It might.
I it could, but like I don't know. I feel like there are things you can do. Um,
Cause like the thing is just such high attack.
oh yeah, I feel like it would be cool if there was Drytrons basically changed the way ritual monsters work by instead of levels, it attributed based on like attack stats, right? I think it'd be cool if
Hmm.
there was an extra deck mechanic sort of based around like attack and defense stats.
I
Um,
did think about that, almost like an Xyz kind of thing or something that like maybe if a monster has like the same attack and has like the same defense.
yeah, or maybe honestly, something else that would be cool. Do you know the companion mechanic in Magic the Gathering?
I do not.
So it was basically a mechanic, and it was a completely broken mechanic. So maybe it's not good to port into Yu-Gi-Oh, but I think in Yu-Gi-Oh it would have a bit less of those problems.
I'm gonna
Um,
target Messengelato and then I'm just gonna Dark Hole and attack for game.
yeah, that will work. Yeah. Oh, I knew about the Dark Hole too. Okay, we got that all important game three though.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have to see what I do here. That seems kind of broken. Let's see. There's three. Yeah, I feel like post siding, I've got a pretty decent matchup um against Madolche, unfortunately. I don't know. It's tricky. I've never played this matchup before, but that's what makes it fun. Diving in with these sort of like not quite meta decks, but sort of
Mhm.
off meta decks. But that's sort of like um, with the companion mechanic. Basically, the companion mechanic. It's sort of like a like duel master or deck master or something, where it's a card that's like outside of your deck, and it's sort of like your special card.
Mhm.
But um, what it is that it limits you can only play it if your deck meets a certain criteria. So for instance, one of the really powerful ones was like you can only play this card if every card in your deck has a mana cost of 2 or less, right? And that's Magic Gathering resource and stuff. But it could easily be in
Mhm.
Yu-Gi-Oh! You can only play this card if you only play monsters with like 500 or less attack or something. Um, and just uh, go for like that sort of thing.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I think that could be cool.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of people really like, not just like in like alternate Yu-Gi-Oh formats. A lot of other card games is just having certain formats that let you play basically like a big boss monster, like like your
Yeah,
big leader card. Like I think that'd be
I feel like
kind of
that would be.
interesting if like they took boss monsters and made them more into that into its own more of like a mechanic than just being a powerful card in a deck.
Yeah, I think that'd be neat, and it would also like, and you could argue that like if you play a boss monster in your deck, oh, hit my MST,
Oh,
but you could argue like that like playing a boss monster on its own already does that sort of thing, where
yeah.
like in order to facilitate bringing out that boss monster, you have to play your deck in a certain way. But I think it would just be neat if I don't know if there was a more codified version of that didn't necessarily that sort of forces you to be more creative, right? Like most boss monsters that you play nowadays, they're based in a certain archetype. So it's like, well, okay, how am I bringing this out? I'm playing the other cards in the archetype and
Hmm.
going for that strategy. And I'm not saying that there's no creativity in that, because I think there can be a lot of creativity in that, especially with like what ratios you use, which of the archetype you actually play, and stuff like that. But I do think that you had something that is sort of like outside of an archetype. It's not archetype specific. It just says you can only use this if you have this sort of condition met, right? Like I think that would be a very neat thing that could be splashed into a variety of different sort of decks. And I don't know, maybe it would turn out to just be too broken, but I do think it would be fun to sort of experiment with.
I'm gonna grab Hoot Cake because I don't know what else I should grab.
I think Hoot Cake's a good one,
Um, and
but
then
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Attack.
And now my master plan, Gores, come down. No, I don't have Gores.
For a second, I'm
Uh,
like, oh my god, don't tell me. Gores for
Well, Trag
1400.
was in the side deck for this, and I was like, ooh, Trag is kind of nice because Trag is a level 10, so that's kind of neat. But
I did have an idea
um,
for a an X. I use this word. Oh my bloody god! I'm gonna compulse my Mageline.
that makes sense to me. Yeah,
Um, yeah, like I used this term earlier, but extra deck, but like more in regard to like some sort of new extra deck monster that has its own specific like deck to fit in. Could be kind of interesting. So
yeah.
it doesn't take away from like the other things, but like maybe like a like a 5 card like limit for whatever.
Here's an interesting idea. What if we had something called the center deck? Goes right in between the two extra monster zones, and it's a set of, let's say, 4 cards made up by each player bringing like 2 cards each. And basically, it's something that both players can play from. So it's kind of like the extra deck. But if your opponent's able to, sort of bring out the monster that you put into it before you were able to, then they can use it first. And so it's like, how do you exactly build that center deck to make it so that you're more likely to play what you want to play, but also you don't give your opponent too powerful of a tool there?
That does kind of go in line with just how the extra monster zones kind of work, like first come first serve type of deal.
Yeah, I
I'm gonna
think that
grab Mewfluffle, the
yeah,
Uno
Mufriel,
zone.
so cute. Um, yeah, I feel like they wouldn't probably do that because it just seems it would probably be a way to then lower the cost of certain decks, right? Because you don't need to spend for all 4 cards that are going in the center deck. You just need to buy like however many you do.
Hmm.
Um, I think it could be cool. I don't know. That's just my idea there. But
That would be interesting.
yeah,
Like just having
um,
some sort of like shared element in the game.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just like I don't know. It would be neat to have something where it's like because now feel like one of the main problems with the game is that like there are too many generic staples in the extra deck, right? And that seems to
Hmm.
be like the main issue that a lot of people point to, I think at least. But if you remove that a little bit by making the generic extra deck staples something that both players can take advantage of, I think it leads to some interesting design philosophies.
Hmm. Now I wish I had a messenger gelato.
Mm.
Do I have anything? Nothing in grave. I think Yu-Gi-Oh should just be start playing with an Uno attack machine where every time you draw, it might accidentally just give you like 10 cards.
That would be very funny. But also, people already complained about the randomness element in the game, and I feel like that would not solve that for those people.
Also,
Might
what's up?
exacerbate the issue a little bit.
So what's up, Sunny Shine and Jonathan H? Would there be much danger in allowing unlimited summoning of normal summons? I think so.
Yeah, the way I like to think about it is like Yu-Gi-Oh is one of the few card games out there without like a built-in resource system, right? Like it doesn't have lands for mana, it doesn't have energy like Pokemon does. So that makes it pretty unique because a lot of other games don't sort of have that freedom to do what you want, right? But one of the
Hmm.
few things that is sort of limited is the normal summon, and so that makes it so that like you know you can't play too many normal summons in your deck and deck building and stuff. Or decks have very powerful normal summon starters, but they're so powerful because it's balanced by the fact that you only have one normal summon, right? But if you had multiple, then that basically takes away all the restrictions. Actually, that's like Rush Duels, right? And Rush Duels is fine, I guess, but I think if you applied Rush Duel rules to modern Yu-Gi-Oh, it would probably not be fine. So um, that's sort of my theory on that.
Like we have Time Terry Morganite, which already kind of tells you what you need to know about Konami sneaking into that. Like we also just got Ultimate offering, which lets you normal summon 3 monsters in a turn by paying 1,000 life points, I believe. It's like they
Yeah,
have like
Ultimate
certain
offers.
things around it, but Ultimate's so fun. I immediately picked up 3 because like that is like like such a cool casual card.
Yeah, it's very very funny. And I think more funny cards is a good thing. I know a lot of people complain when funny cards are made. They're like, this isn't competitive. This is like just a terrible pack filler card and stuff. And it's like, well, competitive cards are good to print as well, but also it's fun just having more casual cards as well. But
Like I love the casual stuff. I mean, I'm playing
yeah.
Madolche in Meadowlands in March 2013 format.
Oh
I
yeah. If
I
I
want
could have
to
found a list for Madolche, I would have played it as well.
I
Uh,
do want to I want to get Tiramisu out at some point, but like I don't have anything in the graveyard, so it's basically useless.
just do tiramisu now.
Um
I'm sure I know backer that can deal with it.
yeah, if you have like a solemn or something. I wish I had one more so I could go into another guy. The thing
Oh,
is,
Shockmaster.
they. Well, I didn't want to say it. The thing they need to add to Master Duel is a custom ban list option. I mean,
I think
that'd be cool. We
yeah,
actually,
for Master
I'm
Duel for
pretty sure
sure.
we've talked about this in one of the episodes about ban lists,
Yeah.
right? I think
Yeah.
that was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I personally think that like, every friend group should be able to play with a custom ban list if they want to, right?
Hmm.
Um, and if they don't play with a custom ban list, they can just play with the regular ban list, and that's sort of their custom ban list because they've decided to play with that. But at the end of the
Hmm.
day, Yu-Gi-Oh is a game that is very free with how you play it, right? Like not free in terms of the cards that you buy, but it's very sort of not restrictive, right?
Right.
If you want to play in competitive setting, that's one thing. But if you're just playing with friends, there's a lot of fun stuff you can do. And I think that Match Duel should make a custom banlist option, like you say, to sort of accommodate that.
Hmm. This is dangerous.
Yeah.
It's like part of me wants to go into like just a monster that has bigger stats, but
And did anything have bigger stats than Deal Gigas?
well, Utopia could at least like protect me.
That's true.
Um, You know what?
I'm very curious what you're gonna go into here. I'm a bit scared, I will say. I'm in a bit of a precarious position.
I'm not
Oh,
gonna go.
interesting.
I'm not gonna go into anything. I'm not gonna go into
Very
anything.
interesting. Um, okay.
I'm a, I'm a,
What
I'm a,
I'll
s-
do
I'm a
here,
scared man. I'm terrified.
yeah, I'm a bit less scared, so I'm gonna pitch this Gishki Shadow, and I'm gonna go for an Aqua Mirror. And let's go for. Oh, I do have something else that's funny that I could do, but I don't think it's worth doing. So I'm just gonna do Aqua Mirror, Tribute, bring out the Zeal Gigas and attack there. Uh, anything to that or
No. Sunny Shine says, fun ideas. They can use a mechanic that will turn the card 45 degrees, then the vertical and horizontal, like using arrows to add new Pokemons or position summonings.
that would
That
be funny.
I think
I
having
would
like
support that.
upside down cards could be kind of interesting for like some sort of mechanic. Because we don't really like, there's nothing like official in the game. It's just people do that to replicate certain things, but nothing's ever like there's no rules in the game for anything upside down related.
Yeah. I should have done something slightly, and it's fine. Anyways,
Uh, monsters that are banished from this monster cannot activate their effects.
yeah,
Excuse
there's,
me.
there's just a Beast Dweller and a Trap card, you know. Uh, I do think that like it's sort of related to arrows in that way, where like rotational cards would be an interesting thing because like technically we don't use the like sides of a Yu-Gi-Oh card to do anything really, except for like links pointing. But
Like it would be
um,
interesting if like if you put a monster clockwise horizontally, it's like defense mode, but like the other way, it's some sort of other thing. I mean, hell, you could even add face down attack. Bring back that
yeah,
darkness
no, that
approaches.
we used to have it, but then they ripped it away from us.
What is
Um,
1800?
yeah,
Ow. And does not get its effect. God,
it does
what
not.
is this
So
madness?
I'm happy with that. So look, I've got 400 life points, so I'm living on a dream. Uh,
Hmm.
Zeal Gigas or bust. That's what I'm doing now.
I'm going to normal summon Mewflu and declare special summon a Madolche from hand.
That is fine.
And I will select Messengelato, which will allow me to
That is
search for a
also fine.
spell or trap card.
Yep, that's good to me.
Ugh, the fucking soul whatever. Soul Drain screws up Chateau,
Yeah,
screws up
you,
Ticket.
you still get to shuffle the things back into the deck. It's just they don't get to use their effect when they're sent to graveyard. So
I think I'm gonna go with Palooza.
yeah, Palooza seems good. It's also a defensive option too.
There should be a time mechanic. People have talked about having like a chess clock, but the issue with that is that Yu-Gi-Oh is a game that requires interaction, or at least in theory. So when you have like
Mhm.
interactions between stuff, then it's like you can't have like chess clocks basically.
Yeah, there's also the sort of thing where like let's say that the effects are like, oh, if you can do this in this amount of time, you get this additional effect and stuff. So it's introducing like other skills from outside of the game into the game, which is very awkward. Um, so yeah, I'm not the hugest fan of that, unfortunately. You're going to go cowboy. I'm going to TT. There's no
Ooh.
prio in this format, so
Uh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't get
I
Cowboy for game.
yeah, I figured out something. I'm like, this is gonna kill you, or it
Yeah,
won't.
that's why I was scared about going down to 400 with Soul Drain. But I was like, I can't have to because like all these all these Madolches doing their thing,
All
you know?
these Madolches doing their thing.
Yeah. But hopefully I'll be able to. Hopefully Zeal Gigas can get me there. That's a pretty. That's actually not that good for me.
Honestly, I think doing like some like evolution thing could be kind of cool too. Like, there's technically an evolution
Mm,
mechanic in the very first Yu-Gi-Oh video game, in Japan, which was basically just Great Moth. Um, but I think having something where you have like a certain monster that could, um, uh,
good.
like you have like an extra like sort of side thing that you can upgrade a card with. That's the only way to access these cards. I think that could be kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, I think that would be neat. Like evolution's one of the coolest things in Pokemon and in Digimon too. And you even have sort of it in Magic the Gathering with like the transform mechanic. I think that's what it's called. But basically, you like get to flip the card over once you fulfill a certain condition. You get a
Oh,
powered up
sure.
version of it. Um, so that's pretty neat. But I'm just gonna do the. I love how salvage is just like a one card. Zeal is here. Um, to get things going, but I mean, it's all about getting things going. If you can't do that,
I'm
then
gonna TT
it's
that.
awkward. TTing it,
Do you have a
I think I
lance or
do have to
something?
lance. Yeah,
Uh, yeah. Lance
yeah,
is nutty.
it's a really good card. A
So
lot of different
so
applications.
evolution kind of is like turned into the leveled mechanic. Um, I'm actually talking about this. There's a reason why I know about this because I was doing research for a history video. That's going to be out in a couple months. But yeah, they basically brought it back as a level mechanic. But I think having something that's more about like achieving certain goals to having something that's like a little bit outside the deck could be kind of interesting. Even if they put like the evolution stuff like in the extra deck, like that could
Mm.
be something worth discussing.
Yeah, no, I think it's a neat idea, and like a lot of this also like I feel like in terms of the game's design space itself, I feel like a lot's been explored. But in terms of like concepts, I feel like that might be a place to find new ideas for
Hmm.
different things to do. Um, also say the hot take, and maybe I shouldn't be saying it given the title of this podcast or this specific podcast here. Yeah,
This
that's
is all
pretty
about
good.
hot takes.
Yeah, but I think honestly, like Yu-Gi-Oh right now with the mechanics that it has right now, um, is in a really good spot. Like I don't think it necessarily needs more mechanics. Um,
I mean, that's why they haven't really introduced like anything of like substance in quite some time. Like there was something kind of recently, but it wasn't like a wholly new mechanic. I'm trying to remember
yeah,
what it was, but I mean, I guess they're perhaps focusing more on rush duels. I'm gonna normal summon Hoot Cake.
that is fine. Yeah.
Uses effect to banish a monster in my graveyard, especially Madolche from the deck.
Yep,
And I
that's
will
all good.
banish,
Got to defend yourself against like Mirror Force.
I guess.
Although you've got Palooza if I do have Mirror Force, so you can just win that way.
I don't. Wait, potentially. Especially summon a. I
Or you just do
guess.
Zen mains, I guess. I will say for the evolution thing, um, something that a bit of a hurdle that it might meet is I feel like yeah, that's fine. I feel like one of the complaints with Link monsters was that it seemed like every single deck got a Link monster for it, and a lot of people were just like, "This is like I don't like these Link monsters. They're too generic for what the deck does. Doesn't really tie into the deck itself, and so they're not really fun in that way." Yeah, the effective Chateau is fine, um, but I don't know. I feel like evolution could become sort of a similar thing where it's like if every deck gets an evolution, that could be frustrating. But I feel like Konami's been doing a better job with like, first of all, in archetype link monsters, and second of all, like designing new strategy that don't necessarily need certain link monsters and stuff to do things, or can just play on their own axis very well.
I just gotta go for it.
But
Showing that Mirror
yeah, all I've
Force.
got is another Soul Drain.
Oh yes, let's
So
go.
yeah, I had the Soul Drains, but I didn't have any way to get aggressive here in the early game. I could have brought out two Zealgigas the turn I brought out the first Zealgigas because I could have Pitch Vision added another Zealgigas and then just Ritual Summoned the one Zealgigas with the other and then done the salvage play there to just sort of get them both on field at the same time. But I felt that would have been too greedy into like Mirror Force, so I chose not to do that. Um, yeah, these were fun. I like these games. Gishki is just so funny, just going into the one Zeal Gigas. But
Yeah.
if you don't draw the way into that, then it can be a bit
Uh,
tough.
Shiny Stone says they did summoning by names, levels, type, attribute, but not by points yet.
Yeah, so it's sort of like what we mentioned earlier with the sort of Xyz monsters or something like that that's related to attack or defense or some other stat like that. Um, so that would be kind of neat to see.
I think we could do another match.
I'm down.
Matching us. Uh, yeah, like there's always like they're constantly looking for ways to simplify summoning. I think, and Pendulums was kind of like the exception to the rule, just because they seem to try something really out of left field and not quite related to the extra deck. So that's kind of like a more of an asterisk than anything. But with like Link monsters, I mean, yeah, I do think like the Link ratings and like its own something like it's a little confusing, but for the most part, I mean, they just keep getting simpler, which I really like. I mean, that's why I prefer Xyz over Synchros. I hate looking at a Synchro monster and being like, oh, what level is this? I think this is 8, but I should probably count it anyway.
I love synchro monsters. I just think they're so cool. I mean, I'm nostalgic for it because I was around when I mean, I assume you were around too when Duel's Genesis came out and synchros were introduced. And it was just so cool. I was like, "Whoa, this is mind-blowing. They can add a completely new type of monster? Like, what's going
Hmm.
on?" And so I just have a soft spot for synchros.
I mean,
Um,
they're really powerful, and that's what I like about them. That I feel like compared to like some of the simpler summonable stuff like Xyz and Links, like typically with Synchros, you do have to put more effort, but you do get that reward, which
yeah.
I enjoy about it. And also requires, like a specific type of monster, basically, which I makes it even more unique than the other summoning mechanics.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I like him. But I do think that each summoning mechanic has its own strength and weaknesses. Um, and people can like them all in different ways. So I think that is part of what makes it cool.
We're gonna duality.
You can't under Ryo, but you can just duality first
Oh,
if you
wait.
want.
Right, yeah. These duels are not
I've
serious, everyone. We're
yeah, I've learned that lesson the hard way in Tengu format multiple times. Also, duality has its own like little macro thing on it too. Um, so that's kind of neat.
hmm.
But hundreds, okay.
Yeah,
I like to see it.
playing spicy decks.
Oh
K
yeah.
Jordan, what's up? Face down attack position monster. Yeah, they gotta bring back that darkness approaches stuff.
Never forget what they took from us with the darkness approaches. Never forget. Oh, that was the worst errata of all time. Or ruling exchange or whatever. You know. Face up attack. It's so cool. Ah,
I'll add
yeah.
honest. I feel like that's the smart play.
Yeah, honest is not bad. I'll say it's not bad. You know.
I was definitely thinking Seahorse just because like that's definitely the fun pick though.
Yeah, Seahorse gets your combo going because you just do Seahorse, do your whole thing, and then get an Xyz monster, and then you like commit Ryo in the next turn and do
Hmm.
stuff with that. But okay. Oh, that's not.
Yeah, like I can't think of like because it feels like all the additional mechanics that Konami could possibly add kind of has just been thrown into archetypes more than like full game overhauls.
Mm,
Like with Drytrons, like with Earth's Arctics, and like with
yeah.
Zodiacs, honestly, to some degree.
Yeah, and I like seeing that sort of thing. I think it's very neat when that sort of stuff happens. I got to run into that honest eventually, you know.
Mist Valley. Let's see, turn one card.
So just
That seems like a
bounce that.
stupid effect.
It is
I
very dumb,
guess
but
I'll honest. I don't know.
yeah, I had to walk into it eventually, you know. So, uh yeah, it is what it is,
Man,
you
that's
know.
some hidden arsenal stuff right there.
Oh yeah. Well, I love the hidden arsenal. This may or may not be Miss Valleys. It might be something else. Just playing the Falcons in there. So you know, I get to see some little spicy
Yeah,
surprises.
there's always a chance.
Yeah. Another back row.
Hmm.
The banes of my existence. That is
I
also
like
a bane of
I
my
like to
existence. That
keep you
draw.
guessing.
Oh yeah. Let's just go Ryo here.
Oh,
That
Ryo
fine?
v Ryo.
Oh yeah.
Let me think about this. While I read the chat, Sunny Shine says, then take mechanisms from other card games, Digimon, Vanguard, Hearthstone, Magic, Harry Potter, Slay the Spire, Mahjong, etc. Yeah, I think when you start having cards that I can slowly move to your opponent's side of the field, and then they become stronger with the other side, and then they come back and they become even stronger. Cards,
That's kind of like
parasitic cards that you move to your
yeah.
opponent's side of the field.
That reminds me a lot of the you know the like I forget the name of the card, but it's the alt win con card where it's an Xyz monster. Let me think about this. I'm going to chain safe zone to that.
Oh my bloody god! I need to reread
Yeah.
this card, but it. There's like a deep
So
seated
that
fear in the back of my mind.
yeah, this should stop it from being
It's
destroyed by this bottomless.
well, it doesn't
Oh.
oh, destroys that monster and
It does
banishes.
destroy and
Oh,
then banish. And
get
if you do
out of
banish, then
here. Uh, so like,
yeah, safe zone is a nutty card.
uh, uh, uh,
But it reminded me of that alt win con, not safe zone, but the parasitic thing and the shifting to your opponent's side of the field.
oh, is that
It reminds me
Dustin's?
of what?
That's what Lover says. You described Dustin's.
No, but there's the one that like rotates around the field and like if it rotates a certain number of times or if it's like in a certain zone, you like roll a die every turn too. And it's like I forget what it's called, but it's a really weird alt win con where like if it lands on another monster or something, it like sucks it up and adds it as Xyz material, and then if it adds like a certain number of Xyz material or something, you win the game.
Oh,
Um,
Sumo Dice Games? Is that what
that's
I'm thinking
yeah,
of?
yeah. I think that one. Yeah,
What am I supposed to do?
yeah. This is kind of FTK against your deck.
I I can't destroy by battle or by card effects or just target it with card effects.
If you destroy safe zone, it destroys
But
Ryo.
it cannot attack me directly though.
Yeah. So
Okay.
there's nothing to be afraid of. It can also be destroyed by my card effects. So if I want to destroy it, you know, then it's gone.
Hmm.
Maybe you know, are you familiar with like the illusion arc or not archetype, but illusion type now?
Yeah.
Uh, and each illusion monster has this like condition where it like can't be targeted by things and stuff like that.
Comes straight from the
Um,
manga.
yeah, maybe we could do more stuff like that, like more new types and stuff. It might get too
That's what it
confusing over time,
was.
but
That's what I was thinking about like, oh yeah, they had a mechanic in a while, an illusion. That's what I was thinking of. The like that's I feel
yeah,
like that's Konami being like, well, we need to add something to the game.
And it's like illusions. And to be fair, the first wave of illusion support like pretty decent with like Chimera stuff. Um, and that was cool to see that deck actually, but maybe not like tier 0 meta threat, right? Like, but
Hmm.
still being decent,
I mean,
I think that's fun.
y'all want to hear something, some interesting history about illusions?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if y'all know about this, but illusions actually stems back from the original manga. In the first chapter, which I believe was chapter 9, they introduced the game Magic and Wizards, which originally had a 4 alignment system. It was black magic, white magic, fiend magic. I think it was technically called something different, but basically fiend magic and illusion magic. Which of course, come the Duel's Kingdom arc, they would add more like elemental stuff to it all. Um, so when dark, so when what we know as Dark Duel Stories or DM2, they brought back that alignment system, right? Where they from the Duel's Kingdom arc, where they had like the fire, water, but they also had, um, the what was it Shadow? Actually, you have I think I have everything right here.
And Shadow
Yeah,
makes sense as
Shadow, Light, Fiend, and Dream. But Dream was actually illusion type because they couldn't fit all those words of illusion into this, so they changed it to Dream. Um,
Mm.
and in DM2, they invented a ton of monsters for that, whereas DM1 was just like purely from the manga and anime. So DM2 had like all these brand new monsters invented for it, which included cards like uh, Cornfield Codal and Mirror Sword Knight, which came out in 2023's Dueling Nexus. So they stem from like way back then. And in Dark Duel Stories, there was a card combining mechanic where you can combine like 2 cards and it creates like wholly new like art basically. So you're essentially like making like these like weird chimera creations, and that is good, probably a solid reason why the random ass Cornfield Codal Emir Sword Knight work with the Chimera archetype.
That's really cool. I love because I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh archetypes are often filled with a lot more lore than we like think of,
Mhm.
and that's really neat. I like that a lot. It's always cool finding out about those lore bits.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of specific research the last like week or so. S- uh, so it's yeah I can still hear Thunder King. But yeah, like the illusion stuff I thought was kind of fascinating. Like it stems back from like 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Janjo then do a stream where you and Yugioh tried to create how to use it. I don't know if I have the mental capacity for that. Yeah, I
How to use what? How to
just
use
like these random mechanics.
Oh yeah, that would be. We'd also have to like design the looks of them or example cards for them and things
I
like that.
I can't get rid of this guy. Like I could attack into it once, but then you'll just set it to defense mode and it'll just sit there, right?
Yeah, you have any
What?
like bouncing removal? Oh, you can't target, but like there's non-targeting removal maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it's tough. It's just if you got a bigger monster, you can just keep attacking into it and like poking into my
Oh,
life point.
wait a minute. I might have I might have an out, but
Okay.
mm, I'm going to let's see if I can make this work. I'll use Pahandra's effect to special summon
Or to normal
uh
summon another.
or
Yeah.
yeah, normal
Yep.
summon Mahunder.
Yep, that's fine.
I'm going to overlay for
The normal summon if it's overlaid. I don't think you can. I
what?
think so. Yeah, you can't use an additional normal summon after this. After you go into the exceeds thing,
Right,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, cuz it's just one
That's,
additional.
yeah, and it also has to be like it says once per turn, so it has to like be on
Yeah.
the field to then do the normal
Yeah.
summon. It's not, yeah, it's not like gain
Okay,
an
sure.
additional normal summon like Swap Frog.
Then I'm going to use Diamond Direwolf. I'm going to pop it to pop safe zone.
I'm, yeah. I mean, this works out the same way. I was just gonna negate that summon with
Yeah,
a Ryo anyways. So,
all's the same.
um, yeah,
Well, I had like the one out.
yeah. Well, I mean that does it, you know. So that does work. Let's see.
Maybe create your own animation. Oh, I can't create my own anim. I mean, I can technically animate, but Guaiba, what is this
Oh
Dino
yeah.
Rabbit? If it
It,
destroys an
listen,
Pokemon.
it's a lot of things. You still haven't seen like exactly what it is, but
Where's the Metaphor set?
oh, bad. I'm going to set that pass. Heavy doesn't. It's not real. Heavy is not real. You know.
I literally top decked heavy.
Well,
As
you
soon
know.
as you said heavy wasn't real, like it just
Oh,
you wish into existence.
I got too greedy there. I got too greedy with my ninjutsu art of super transformation. So a lot of things going
Oh,
on in this
what the
deck.
Jirac, Mist Valley, Safe Zone, Ninjas.
Is it, why not throw a bunch of things together, you know?
What the heck?
But this works out nice because Ninja Archer Super Transformation can go into Guaiba. Um, so like you wouldn't normally go into that, but like it is something you can go into if you want. It's kind of nice in that regard.
Oh my god. Yeah, like I
That
don't think
Pong.
Konami's gonna listen to this whatsoever. It's just it's just fun to think. Card T.
Oh yeah, your move.
Oh my
I feel like there are many ways I die here,
god.
but
I gesture into Mahander. I don't run. No, I don't. Um, this is almost lethal. I hate that.
it is 2700.
Oh wait a minute. No, I'm stupid. This
Yeah,
is
I was
lethal.
hoping you wouldn't realize because I was like, or maybe you're not on it. Maybe you never know. You never know with these decks.
Why
They might
why
not be
why why would I
on Cat
not
One.
cowboy for a game here?
You never know. You never know. But yeah,
Is Dark
I
Samorg in there? Lead Lover is asking.
who knows? We'll have to find out in maybe game two. Um, let's see. I feel like I don't really have much side deck tech for your deck in particular, but I think that should be fine.
It's like, how do you
Uh,
even take care of freaking safes? I guess you just
just
got like
more spell and trap.
I run plenty of spell and trap removal, but I guess
I feel like
I don't even know
this
what to
might.
side against. I
Yeah,
something
I feel like the
ninjas.
side decking here is very weird.
I guess I'll just leave it be for now.
I feel like this is a good side deck card, but I don't
I am a
really know what else.
big fan of ninjas. Like I have like I've made a ninja deck in probably I don't know, like 2018 or so, something like that.
Yeah, ninjas are cool. Like this is a list that I found, which is like it's a bit light on the ninjas overall, but I think it's still a very cool deck.
I mean,
So
freaking like Sasuke isn't out yet, is he? Ninja Grandmaster.
Sas
Or no, no, not Ninja
Ninja Grandmaster,
Grandmaster. Hanzo, Hanzo. I'm thinking of Hanzo.
is he out? Is he not out? Who can really
Uh,
say? Who can really say? What I will do, I'll summon this
oh,
card D, and then I
okay.
will set one, tribute him off, and then draw two. And that'll do it for me. Oh well, yeah, that does
Nemesis.
clear.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted
Hmm.
to transform with that. Would have been a transformative experience.
Janjo, you tried Terror's Hidden City with ninjas yet? You mean like a
Oh, is that like the new
s-
support card?
wait, is that a ninja sport or are you talking about like Hidden City like sub terrors? Because I honestly
That would be interesting.
modern ninjas do kind of play like sub terrors. Like they have like the whole like face down thing with like Mitsu and the Gravity Ninja and stuff.
Yeah, and also if you like repeatedly like flip summon Hanzo, you get value off that too. Um, so yeah, that honestly, I don't hate that plan.
I'm gonna normal summon Vylon Prism,
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
and then do I want to attack or synchro
Or Xyz. You've got a
or
variety of options here.
Xyz? Yeah, yeah. This was the first jank deck I put together.
I mean, the hundreds are a classic.
I feel like smart thing to do is just to attack first, and then
But I could have set Gores with my I could have Gores with my continuous trap here that I had no way of getting rid of. You never know.
oh, just Hidden City with ninjas. Interesting.
That seems pretty cool.
Yeah, share a
I,
deck list on my Discord linked below if you're not part of that.
a lot of spicy lists there. So
I don't synchro much. I'm like, I know these cards are good, that's why I put them in, but I also don't recall specifically what to do.
I feel like you can just leave things as they are. You
I
don't
feel
need
like
to go into anything else.
Stardust makes sense.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And that is pretty good, Can't deny that. You don't have to set anything. You could just leave that there.
Stardust
Yeah.
Sparking, where are you at? I mean, you know what I'm running, Lead Lover. You've seen the deck in all its
Oh, this
glory.
is a bit awkward. Let's go.
Yeah, card D is kind of an interesting. Actually, I think my first Medolce build actually did run two card Ds, but I took them out.
That's very funny. Okay, I think I'm gonna do this. Um, I'm going to go. Yeah, this seems weird, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go for Dark Hole.
I guess I'll use his effect.
Okay, that is fine by me. Are you ready for a very silly play after Dueling Book?
Oh boy,
Unlags. It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. For
the the
the
the suspense is killing me. I hope it'll last.
the comedy, the comedy of this play. Um, there we go. Okay. I'm going to reborn target the Stardust. See,
Okay, sure.
mine now. uh, and now I'll summon out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mist Valley Falcon. I could return Stardust to your extra deck, which would be very funny, but I think I'm just going to set one, attempt to attack with Mist Valley, and return the set to hand. And then just go Stardust. And yeah, you used MST, you've not used up heavy, but I feel like I can still be fine just doing this. Yeah. And there you go.
Interesting.
It is a very funny little combo there.
I want a duality.
Yep, that's fine with me. Speaking of mechanics, I think excavation. I know Sylvans have the excavate mechanic. I know Adamanticators have the excavate mechanic. But I just want to see more of that. We can have it outside of Sylvans and Adamanticators. Yes, they were both very good decks, but like, there's more you can do with it. Maybe excavate from the bottom. That'd be kind of neat. Um,
Hmm.
like I don't know. There's interesting stuff you could do.
Like Backgrass is always green. I've always found interesting because it uses like the number of cards in the deck. Like we don't see
Yeah.
much cards like that. Like there's that and, like Exchange of the Spirit, but
Yeah, so that could be something to experiment with there.
I'm going to uh, discard
It,
Thunder Seahorse for its
yep,
effect
that's fine.
to get two
It's a bit
Thunder.
awkward for you here because you can't Xyz summon now.
Yeah,
This turn, but you can do stuff. So yeah, I feel like I've still not shown what makes this deck what it is. But occasionally you open Dark Hole Reborn. But I think having things also like Domain of the Monarchs, where it's like your extra deck size was another condition to cause effects to happen or not to happen. I think that's very neat as well. Um, oh, okay. A strategy. Okay. Um, I'm just gonna MST the new back row. Oh, book. Okay, sure. And now I can just. Whoop.
Convulsion of Nature could happen
Oh
any
yeah,
moment now.
very
Um,
fascinating card, and there's still more we could do with it. I am going to lance the Stardust Dragon.
bro. Well, I guess that unless you ISO might be safe. Nope.
I got the Guaiba. So yeah,
I was considering using Boneless like when you first got the Stardust. I'm like, uh,
I had the
I
lance
might be able
there
to
either
clear.
way. So
Yeah.
yeah, it wouldn't have mattered there. I also have Book of Moon set too, so I would have been able to do something there. Um, I'm taking the cards out of my deck though. I think card cards actually pretty bad. Uh, I just want to show the namesake of this deck. I wanna do stuff with that. Game one I drew into White Dragon Ninja, but that's not
Hey,
what you want to draw into in this deck.
hey, Shadow of the Moon, what's up? Just dueling and also talking about random mechanics that Yu-Gi-Oh could potentially add.
Yeah. Uh, and let us know how successful this experiment is or not. Um, because we're trying something new, and you never know how people are gonna receive it or not. But
Oh wait, no, I can't. I can't
yeah,
special summon the turn I use this guy's effect.
you can't, but you can set up for the next turn. So
I think Yu-Gi-Oh should either increase the extra deck size to 18 or 20, and/or a new summoning mechanic that is either red or another color that focuses on special summoning from the extra deck that gets sent back, like Glad Beast, or have the sort of summon from the deck. That could be kind of interesting, like a tag out mechanic, but with the extra deck.
yeah, I just like tag out mechanics in general. I think they're very cool. Um, I think the latest one that you could maybe
Yeah,
point to
fuck it,
as a
I'll
deck
use it.
doing that is like Ritual Beasts. Like they've kind of got a tag out effect
Hmm.
in a way. I guess they literally do because their monsters just go back to the extra deck, get your resources back, do stuff with that. But I always find it really cool when they experiment with that sort of idea. And you could argue honestly that uh, mechanics like that are sort of having a new type of extra deck mechanic introduced in a subtle way, right? Um, so it's always interesting to consider that. Um, two backer, I don't like that. But I do have this upstart, so I can at least draw hopefully into other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like having stuff that like for me the biggest thing is like, okay, what mechanic, because the thing about Yu-Gi-Oh is that I think its strongest suit is that they pretty much let you do basically whatever you want, right? There's like barely a resource system. Now, like obviously
Yeah,
there's some inherent resource systems that it kind of has to have. That's why I like Xyz. The normal summon, card limits, all these things are resource systems. Um, Mind
I'm
Crush,
I'm very sorry,
right? Well, what name?
but Battery Man AAA, just get him out of the hands.
Okay. I could have said I didn't have it. I just But everyone's
Yeah, the
watching.
stream's keeping
Everyone's
you
gonna
honest.
know.
The
Yo,
stream chat's keeping you honest there.
Bobby
Yeah.
Bear, what's up? He says new mechanics like plane walkers and companions.
Yeah, I mentioned companions earlier. I think it could be an interesting thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! But it was broken in Magic, so maybe it'll just be broken here. But I think it would introduce a new style of like interesting deck building.
Declare Sis Hunters effect.
Uh oh,
Tar-
during the
it,
end phase you add. Yeah, sure, that's fine.
okay. I'm gonna target. I have target now. I guess Thunder Seahorse.
Yep, that works for me.
Uh, yeah. There's no like official like deck master format or anything. I mean, like skills like is the closest thing, which honestly I'm fine with. I love skills. I think they're a lot of fun, except for when they constantly errata the cards. It makes it really confusing what does what.
Yeah, well, there won't be any more erratas uh,
Not for
for
some
the near
time.
future,
But
unfortunately.
I am excited to see some of the next upcoming stuff because I think they announced like there's gonna be like a Tristan skill, a Noah
Yeah.
skill. I think
So they're
there's one
going
other
out.
character, Duke. Duke, I think they announced as well, which means
They're
we're
going out
probably.
hopefully on a high note.
I mean, that's one card. I did a stream a while back for cards I wanted, and one that I was thinking before the stream, but I totally forgot during the stream was the like the dungeon dice monsters, like Dice
Hmm.
Dimension and like Orgoth the Relentless. But like if we're getting that, I mean we're getting freaking Max C and Speedle, so if the fact that we're getting like more dice stuff would be really fun. And honestly, like have more like fun little like dice mechanics. I think that could be something.
Yeah. I think like also it goes back to what you were saying about like building out new zones and new areas of the board and stuff. That's sort of what like Dungeon Dice Monsters was, uh,
Mm-hmm.
where you place down the dice and then they'd unfold a path on the field. And then you do stuff with that. Like that was really cool to see in the anime. And I never played the game, but I can imagine it would translate very well to like a video game, or
Mm-hmm.
if you could somehow do it in real life, it would be cool.
Yeah. So
That might be a
dungeon.
bit too hard
Yeah. So
in real
Speedles
life.
isn't canceled. They just said it's put on hold. So for the time being, it basically is canceled. Yes, they're just not outright
Yeah.
saying it. But we are getting one more set, the Battle City Finals, which I was thinking we're gonna get another GX set, but I guess we're just
I think
they probably had
Yeah, I
this
think they're
planned a
probably
while
like,
back.
yeah, if they're like, well, if this is the last one we're doing for quite some time and potentially ever, we might as well bring it back to the start, go Battle City, and
Mm-hmm.
see if people like that. But if you like speed duels and you don't want it to end, go out and buy the product and support the release of it, and hopefully that will convince Konami to put more into it. It's a shame that it's potentially gonna be going away for quite some
Yeah, like
time,
I'm
but
a big fan of Speed Duels. Like I have like 3 Speed Duels decks over there made. It's Cyberdark, Moki Moki, and I believe Neos.
mm,
Like I honestly do like I have been more like I have put this out in the ether there that I do think they it could possibly behoove them to add the addition of synchro monsters, but maybe they're taking a break to like pull back and seeing okay how can we like really rejuvenate this instead of just kind of rehashing DM era sets or these failing GX sets. Which if that's what they're doing, like all the more power to them because I think there's a ton of fun with speed duels. People play it is just like the way they release products is too far and few in between without enough power change in the meta. Or when they do,
yeah.
it's like absolutely busted if it's a Weevil skill.
I do wonder, and this is maybe like a bit of cynical hopefulness, honestly. One of the big things that people have been talking about a lot with this new Speed Duel product is like the Maxi reprint, and they're like, oh, you got to get it for the Maxi reprint, right? Either because you want to play Tengu or because you're speculating that it will be like released in the future or something like that. Um, I'll take that, unfortunately. Um, but like maybe it's something where they're having actually in speed duels now because they know that people are going to buy it, and once they all buy it, then that will boost sales in the product, and then make it more of something that Konami can potentially, uh, invest in more in the future, right? So that would be kind of neat if that happened.
Like when
But
Speedos was first announced, I thought like it was just a way to add that's good. Like add like you can take any card to make into a speed duel deck. Like I remember a friend I built a speed duels prank kids deck. Um which like I don't think they're gonna do something like that. But I just think like the idea that people can like try out their own sort of variations of speed duels and just see what would work. Like if you wanna start putting some synchro stuff in there, then by all means go for it.
yeah,
Oh,
get it out
yeah.
of here.
Ugh, I can't stop it. Like I think it'd be
Also,
fascinating
not
to just put together a
sorry about this. Thunder
Thunder
Seahorse.
Seahorn. He didn't even have a chance.
Yeah,
But yeah, just like add like a couple of tuners and the stuff, or even like Xyz monsters, and just see how it plays. Like I think that would be like
yeah.
absolutely fascinating.
I think it would be neat. And I feel like people are going to make hypothetical formats of speed duels eventually where it's like, okay, well, what if we did include some synchro monsters or stuff like that? How would this actually work out? Um, it's not quite the same because you need the skills as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think it could be something cool for a community driven effort to do.
Oh boy, what to do?
Oh boy, indeed.
All
I'm
these
debating
like
just letting you use the seahorse and then,
yeah, man, all these
uh,
Sunners just have like normal summon effects, which makes it kind of bothersome. Yeah, yeah, you could use it against Seahorse and just got the cards I brought.
yeah. I just figured it was better like having you not deck then as much, right? Um, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe a little mistake, but I think that this is I don't know, I just went for it. Yeah, Mahandra's fine.
Is Reborn fine?
Oh, yeah, what's your target?
I don't know, fucking Thunder Seahorse.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. We'll TT this.
I think you might have had. Let's see, TT. Can I Starlight Road this?
You can, yeah. A bit unfortunate for me.
Oh, this does have the drawback that stars can pretty much only get one negate via
Yeah,
Starlight Road.
but still rough for me here.
Yeah, Speed Duel Utopia sounds pretty fun though. It does, right? Adding some
Yeah,
like very like basic Xyz cards. Like, can you imagine like Tornado Dragon or Abyss Dweller or Diamond Direwolf? I mean, I
that'd
think
be
that'd
pretty
be
neat.
fun.
I think all those would be pretty balanced in speed duels as well.
Hmm.
What are you going for here?
Speed Duel Shadal. Yo, Speed Duel Burning Abyss, honestly, I think that
That'd
would
be
be
wild.
insane.
That might be a bit broken, honestly.
You have one. I could
Maybe I
potentially
should have let you
Diamond
use.
Dire, but
I think Diamond Dire is the fairest. Oh, you're talking about here, yeah. That's also a
yeah.
potential good option to go into. Maybe I should have let you use Thunder Seahorse, so that way you couldn't special summon after doing all this. So like, then even if you had Starlight Road, you wouldn't be able to summon out the Stardust. But,
Oh, true. I forget about
yeah.
Thunder Seahorse. It has like that weird claws. Like
Yeah,
you're taking away all its fun.
it's still, I feel like it still was an okay gamble on my part, but definitely a tricky thing. I also could have waited for you to Xyz summon as well,
I
and
access
then
the overlay network to summon Utopia.
Utopia. Very nice.
I guess it doesn't matter with Gores. They both have the same
Yeah.
attack.
Yeah, I also have a set currently. so I'd have to use it first.
Yeah, I feel like you might have used some. Oh, yeah, true.
Oh, let's go. Oh, we've got it.
No.
Damn.
Hanzo does exist.
I'm glad I
Oh
got to
my
show this
god.
off at least before yeah.
Hanzo's
I get to
so
add
cool.
what do I want to add? Do I want to I feel
Uh,
like I think it's just better to go into White
Upstart
Dragon Ninja.
Golden.
So I'm going to do Jitsu Art of Super Transformation. Um,
Okay.
and then
Yeah, see, that's why
I
I
will
had
just
Steel Storm Roach earlier.
yeah, no, I think it
Since
made
we
sense
stopped
to
that.
do that. But
Hanzo exists and will hurt you. Oh, don't worry.
oh yeah,
He's a made up card. He can't hurt you in your sleep. In my sleep.
that's what you think.
That's what I. Oh boy. Hmm. Do I have like? I don't think I have any like weird negation things.
I feel like yeah, this is
Can
it's a tricky situation for you.
can I raise super whatever?
Yeah. Uh, well,
Actually,
I'm gonna
I
take
can
back the
just
two cards I set,
actually
and then
I'll say
I'm gonna
okay.
show it to you.
Yeah,
Uh, so that way I can sort
yeah,
of
that's fair. Target ninja card you control and one face-up monster your opponent controls sends them to the graveyard.
yep gets
And
around
special summons
Stardust.
a drag and special summons whatever less than equal than the combined level. Hmm.
Yeah, it's a bit wild.
Okay. So you can like chain to like anything with that thing.
Yep, but you can
Oh.
chain MST to it, because it's not part of the cost to send a grave.
Oh. I don't know. I'm looking at my. I can't do anything with my extra deck.
It overlay
uh,
Stardust and Utopia into Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon.
Honestly, if they added like some sort of like more of like a rank system, that would be really interesting. Like
Yeah,
something that
I,
wasn't like bound to just Xyz monsters.
I think that'd be cool. Yeah, and this sort of gets into what I was saying earlier, where like you combine the different types of cards. Uh, get the Oreos, the half Xyz,
Oh
half
yeah.
synchros. Um,
We need a card that has like
yeah,
all like a rainbow gradient of all the extra deck monsters.
that would be so cool. The ultimate boss of Yu-Gi-Oh.
What do I do? I
That's
mean,
a
I
good
could.
question. You could admit defeat.
Uh, Screw it.
Uh,
Stardust attack.
I'm going to Ninja Art of Super Transformation, and I'm going to pick the Utopia.
Okay, but then you have to pick something that's level 4.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna pick the Stardust. Never mind.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I wasn't even thinking of that. So yeah, I'll pick the
Uh,
Stardust.
yeah. See,
Yeah,
I did remember that from the card because it's combined levels and
yeah. I
Xyz
guess
monsters are not levels.
I could have brought out Guaiba. That's something.
White
But
Dragon. I don't think I've ever actually even seen this card.
it protects all my spell and traps. So
Interesting.
yeah,
Well, I can't beat over that with Utopia, but I will think I'll activate Thunder Seahorse.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Drawn a turn too late to be hit by the Mind Crush. Damn.
2 light Thunder monsters with the 600 lesser attack. With the same name. That's a stupid clause.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it works out for you here. I think you've got a couple. Well, you got double Mahunter for sure. I think, right?
Yeah, I have plenty of them, but it's just like it doesn't really help me out. per
You could also
se.
get 2 Thunder Seahorses, except they're 2 engrave, I guess.
Yeah, I
But
can't do that. I have like a bunch of my hunters, but eh, I guess I'll just have to grab two of them and just
you got 100 up.
test my luck here. Thunder Seahorse from Guitar Hero 2. Exactly. Yeah, I guess. I mean, you can't beat over my Utopia for at least 2 attacks.
That's true. I think what I'm gonna do is MST or back row in case it's a weird,
Are you
sort of
sure
like
you want to do
dim bridge or
that?
something. I am sure. Oh, let's go. Okay, I'm glad I did that. I'm very
I
glad I did that. Um,
yeah.
yeah, now I think I'm just going to use up one of those materials on this Utopia.
I'll detach the Seahorse.
Yep, that's fine. And yeah, back to you.
Back, back again. Did you use TT? You did use
Doo-doo-doo.
TT.
Yeah, I
I
used TT,
will
but I don't
normal
think TT is limited here.
summon. Yeah, I think it's at 2 in this format.
Yeah, yeah, Ponder's fine.
Normal
Yep.
summon Syshunder, declare to target
Uh,
for the end phase.
yep, that's fine.
I will target. I guess Thunder Seahorse.
Do it again, baby.
Uh, I, I have to overlay into something.
Yeah, I think Diamond Dyer can deal with it, right?
I mean, the only thing this thing is doing is protecting your ninjutsu stuff, right?
Yeah, it's also just a big body.
Yeah,
Um,
like Pearl can't even attack over it.
yeah.
But I do have this guy. I summon from the Overlight Network Star Liege Pala
Wait,
Dynamo.
I need to read this thing. Uh, oh yeah, that's a bit scary. I'm gonna TT.
You what? Look at all these my beautiful XZs of the blue
I
and
know. I
yellow
I had to clear them
varieties.
away.
Oh
I had
no.
to.
Oh man. Egg on my
What about
face.
a mechanic where if some of your extra deck monsters are destroyed, you can like bring out another thing from the extra deck. That would probably be too busted.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be
Wait, didn't Pile Dynamo, if this card's destroyed by opponent's card effect. Oh, I get a draw card because of its effect.
yeah.
Um, okay. So I will set a card, then end phase to get back Seahorse.
Yep. Yours keeps coming back.
Does
Is a bit of a
art
problem for
not stay on the field or yeah, I guess
Uh,
it's
I think it does
when this
stay on the
monster
field.
leaves
Or yeah,
but
when leave
but
the
the
field, you banish the monster, but it doesn't
okay.
say anything about
Right.
yeah. That's part of why this Malady Falcon is so good here. Um,
Oh, true.
this doesn't feel good, but I think
I am having like the worst case of like wrong day syndrome today. This whole
yeah. What
day, even till like now, if I keep thinking it's Thursday.
is it not Thursday?
It's Wednesday, my dude.
Oh, yeah. I'm a bit off on that. This is so awkward, but I think I have to just do um reborn target Hanzo.
That's fine.
Okay, I'm gonna bring out Hanzo in back. Then
So he
I don't have any other targets to search.
okay.
What I will do is attack directly.
I'll take that.
Okay. Set
Hands.
1. And back to you.
I think I will.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that.
Normal Pahunder.
Yeah, that's fine.
Activate effect.
Yep.
Normal summon Vylon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine.
And then something. A roulette
Into a
zone
level 8.
mechanic, like Marvel Snap. Reforce early stage baldness. A roulette would be
I think
really interesting.
Yeah, Marvel Snap's very interesting from like a card game design perspective. Um, like that would be like a field center would be neat. Like where it's like, I mean, there are 3 slots. Like there's one, there are 2 right outside the extra monster zone, and 1 in the center. Maybe you have 3 location slots there that you can do things with. Uh, I don't know how that would affect things, but um, it's such an interesting game. Very different from Yu-Gi-Oh, but still very fun. Very addictive too.
It is interesting how many people like hate like the randomness of Yu-Gi-Oh, but also people also like the randomness of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Like it's a love hate relationship. Like I love the chaos stuff, but it's also as equally frustrating when it doesn't go in your favor. It's like a traditional card game in that regard, like a poker. A
Yeah.
lot more bluffing skills than anything else, really. That's why you got the pro heavies.
Yeah. Very curious what you're going to bring out here.
I
I'm
think
not sure what the best option is.
I'm gonna synchro summon
Hmm.
for Crimson Blader.
Ooh, that's a bit tricky. Yeah.
If he destroys your Hanzo by battle, you cannot normal or special summon level 5 or higher monsters during your next turn.
Yeah, that's a bit awkward for me, for sure.
In which I will attempt to attack for 1,000 bolts of damage. Chicken Game
I'm going
2.0.
to safe zone on the Hanzo.
Ooh, yeah, you still take the damage though.
I still take the damage, but I survive at least. I'm in cowboy range, but I'm living.
Although I mean I can't summon Cowboy right now though, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, not right now. I'm sure later you'll be able to, but
That thing is so that is like the stupidest card. How is that not banned just for being stupid? And
I
that
don't
is
disagree with
technically
you,
speaking.
honestly.
That is technically speaking. It is stupid.
Ooh, what do I do here? I don't really like any of my options. I guess. Um, yeah, I have like no good options here really.
I mean, you might buy yourself some time. Carve out a safe
Yeah,
zone in Yu-Gi-Oh,
I,
like a medical zone.
I think I'm just gonna switch Hanzo to defense. Pass back to you.
What if they had like cards that had like health points?
Oh, that would be neat. Like the damage builds up over time. If you
Hmm.
whittle away their health points, and then it takes a couple turns, but like eventually they'll fall.
I like this card I just drew. I enjoy it.
I don't like the sound of that.
Activate recycling batteries. Target 2 Thunder type
Oh,
monster,
yep, that'll do
1,500.
it.
Let's start graveyard. Add them to my hand.
Yeah, that'll get you those.
I can add pretty much everything back.
Yeah, anything. Well, you can't have Thunder Seahorse back, but
Yeah,
anything
it's
else.
just too much. I mean, I'm definitely adding back one of these Hunter whatever. And optimally speaking, oh, I know what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'm gonna add a Sis Hunter as well.
Yep, that works.
Oh, so I was playing
I don't like where
Pokemon
this is
the
going.
other week with a friend, and like his graveyard got so big compared to his deck, which had like 6 or whatever cards left. When he was searching to like recur something from his graveyard, afterwards he shuffled his graveyard out of like just us playing Yu-Gi-Oh for so often.
Mm.
He's just like, oh, it's
I
just like
mean,
this is my deck. We're just gonna shuffle it.
yeah. I mean, it normally would work that way, but
I will normal summon Paw Hunter,
yep,
normal summon Sis Under,
yep,
target Thunder Seahorse in graveyard,
yep. That's fine.
overlay for the Diamond Dire Wolf.
Oh, okay, yeah. I wasn't expecting that one. I was expecting just cowboy for game, but this works too. Yeah, so that will clear that.
Yeah, I mean that would be smarter, but then I can't do this. Attack for game.
Yeah, I've got call for the
Oh,
Hanzo, but that will not quite do it. I
yeah,
did
because it'll
not
be in
draw the
attack mode. Oh
I
no.
I drew one monster that game. I could have gotten Gwyboff Duality, but I don't really think it was worth it. I think it
I
was
mean
better
that
just to get the
first
Minecraft and the
Madolche game, I
Seers.
drew into 2 monsters. None of them were Madolches.
Yeah, I mean this deck also runs like relatively low monsters because you normally get into them off Super Transformation,
hmm
but uh, yeah, that was rough stuff. But this was a fun match I thought between the Hunters and the Ninjas.
Yeah, the hunters are
Uh,
fun. They're a little slow, but they get their pieces quickly, which is nice. Which I guess that's like the trade-off you get.
yeah, and against a slower deck like Ninjas, I feel like it is pretty good, right? It's not a flaw
hmm
because they're also slow, so they can build up their time. A powerful monster that ninjas have a bit of difficulty dealing with. Um,
Well, you seem
but
to be out of time though. That took just the
yeah,
exact right
that
amount of
would
time
it was
for
perfect,
this.
just as we planned it.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you all for watching. If you have, if you're feeling this like more super casual dueling style of podcast, definitely let me know. Like in the comments. I'll probably put a post on YouTube about it or something. We'll see. Uh, I was paying like half attention for the actual discussion though. But I had
Yeah, it
fun
was
dueling,
it
so
was
I
definitely
guess
an adjustment.
yeah, there's definitely a trade off there, which is something I'm sure you and I will discuss off stream as well. But yeah, thank
Yeah,
you all for joining, and until we see y'all next time, have a wonderful day.
yeah.